Hello, I'm Emma and welcome to your audio described full body Pilates workout part 1. So in this section we will be doing some seated and laying on our back exercises. Do remember, if you are blind and visually impaired, to do check out my other videos because I do describe in a lot of detail. I've got this one and another one as well, that is especially for blind and visually impaired, where I do explain a little bit more, but please do check out the other ones because they may also work for you as well. Do remember as well, you don't have to be blind and visually impaired to watch this. You can do this if you want to put your phone to the side and you don't want to look at the screen, or you want to relax a little bit more and just listen. So grab your mat and let's get ready to go. Swivel yourself around and just bring yourself to one end of the mat. So you're right at the front of your mat and you've got plenty of room to roll back, or plenty of room behind you. So you just want to have your feet completely flat on the mat. So they're not so far away from you that your feet are lifting up. They're not so close that you're hugged all the way in. It's pretty much like your legs are in right angles and your feet, your knees should be nice and parallel. So you've got a little bit of a gap between the feet and the knees are nice and in line with your hip bones. So we want to sit up as tall as we possibly can, like a piece of string pulling us all the way up nice and tall. And I just want you to place your palms onto the back of your legs, so just behind the knees, and just use your hands to press into the legs to sit you up a little taller. Just make sure your shoulders are relaxing down your back. Like I said, you're lifting up nice and tall, belly button pulling in towards the spine, and let's make sure we're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And actually, if you don't know about the Pilates fundamentals, I'm going to leave a video on screen now that you can quickly check out. But let's take a deep breath in. On the exhale, I just want you to start to tuck your pelvis under and just start to scoot back, like someone's just punched you in the stomach. Not a nice feeling, but that feeling of pulling in. Shoulders stay away from the ears, and just start to straighten your arms slightly so you've got enough room to curve back. So like the letter C, or just nice curve, scooping in. Lower body hasn't moved, and slowly come back up, sit nice and tall. Let's go again. So we scoop down on the exhale, tuck your pelvis under, really rounding, curving that spine back towards your mat, straightening through the arms, shoulders away from the ears, keep looking straight ahead, and let's come back up. So let's go through the breathing again. Deep breath in, exhale as you draw those tummy muscles in a little bit more as you scoot back. Take a deep breath in as you hold, exhale, come back up. So this is layer 1. Layer 2, we're going to reach the arms nice and long in front of us at shoulder height, palms facing in towards each other, thumbs facing up, and we're going to see if we can roll down maybe a little bit further this time, so the lower back starts to touch the mat whilst your arms are in front. So now you haven't got the support of the legs. Deep breath in, hold, exhale, come back up. Let's go again. Sit nice and tall, deep breath in, exhale, scooping back, knees stay in line, the arms just floating in front. Deep breath in, hold, and come back up. Let's see if we can bring it all the way down to the mat this time. So sitting up tall, deep breath in, exhale, start to roll down, arms on the legs or arms in front, and just start to let your lower back touch down to the mat. You're still scooping. Then the middle back, then the shoulder blades and the upper back. Once you get to the head dropping down, start to take your arms up and over your head, and just make sure your head hasn't dropped all the way back. Your arms are now right over your head, and let them drop down onto the mat or the floor above your head if you're able to. If you can't drop them all the way down, then don't. And just check now that your hip bones have stayed nice and level. Your back isn't arching all the way up, but it's not pressing down. It's nice and neutral. Your rib cage hasn't opened, it's knitted together, and your shoulders haven't lifted. Let's take the arms up and over the head. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Arms have now just floated in front of you, and just start to peel each part of the spine off bit by bit like a sticker, staying in that curved position until you reach all the way back up to a nice seated position. Sit nice and tall. Let's go again. Exhale, roll down. If this feels a little bit too much, go back to a half roll down or holding on. Once you reach down, take the arms over the head. Keep the rib cage nice and closed. Back is not arching. Keep the feet grounded. Take the arms up and over the head, palms still facing in. Chin to the chest, start to roll up. Use those core muscles. Now, if you want to, you can have your legs nice and straight in front of you. Hip distance apart or legs together. And we're going to do that same thing. And roll down. And you need to keep your legs nice and in line and completely grounded on the mat. Now, on the way up, if anyone starts to lift through the legs and you're dragging yourself up, please go back to smaller movement, because I'd rather you have the quality of the movement there rather than adding a little bit more and losing that control. Let's sit up nice and tall, and let's go for the last one. This one's such a nice one for the spine and for those core muscles. Taking the arms over the head, nice control. Power through those arms like someone's stopping you from moving. Chin to the chest, let's roll all the way up like a sticker peeling off of the mat. Sit nice and tall. Okay, so if you haven't already, straighten your legs out in front and just take them to about the width of your mat. So your legs are a little bit wider than they were before. Like I said, legs straight. Now, if you find it hard to sit tall, and I know I definitely do because I'm always hunched over and like looking at things really close and things like that, and ducking down when I'm walking to protect myself, I do have slightly rounded shoulders. So if you're like me, you may want to bend your knees slightly so you can sit a little taller, or sit on a pillow or a little block just to give you a little extra lift. So we're sitting nice and tall. Knees and toes facing up to the ceiling, legs straight or slightly bent through the knees, lifting up nice and tall. Just reach your arms at a shoulder height in front of you. You're looking straight ahead. Palms are facing in towards each other, thumbs facing up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, tuck your chin to your chest and just imagine peeling your spine off of a sticky wall. So I like to use that image quite a lot. So you're rounding the spine off bit by bit, scooping over the legs, and just reach your hands over towards your toes. So now you've just scooped over your legs, and imagine there's a beach ball in front of you. So it's like you're really having to pull it in so you don't squash that beach ball. And then take your time to roll up lower back to middle back to upper, sitting nice and tall. So going again, deep breath in, exhale, chin to chest. Start to peel the spine over the legs bit by bit, reaching those arms towards the legs. Hold, scooping in through the core muscles and roll back up, sitting nice and tall. So you're just rolling down through the spine bit by bit. So this is spine stretch. Really nice to stretch out the spine and the back of the legs. Let's roll forwards again. Scoop and slow to come back up. Sitting nice and tall. Let's do that one last time. Deep breath in. Exhale, chin to the chest. Rounding forward, scoop over the legs. Just relax the hands down onto the legs now. And just hold. Scooping over your legs, feel that stretch. Just keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Sit nice and tall. Squeeze the legs together. Just slowly lower yourself all the way down to the mat so your back is completely flat down on the mat, or you're laid down on the mat. Your head, your neck is nice and long, so you're looking straight up to the ceiling. It's like the space of an orange being underneath your chin to your chest. Your knees are bent, your feet are completely flat on the mat, just like they was when we were sitting up tall with our knees bent. So they're not too far away, they're not too close. They're just nice at comfortable distance at about right angles. Just make sure your knees are staying in line with your hip bones. And now just place your hand on your pelvis or your hands and just make sure that your pubic bone and your hip bones are on the same level. So you're not twisting, tilting. You can also check your back, make sure it's nice and neutral. You're only fitting about one flat hand underneath your back. Your shoulders are relaxing down your back, pressing into your mat. And you just want your arms reaching nice and long by your side, palms facing down, fingertips walking towards the feet. Okay, let's do a little prep for the legs. So take a deep breath in. On the exhale, engage your core and pick one leg up, keeping it in that right angle, and just float the leg up until the knee is now on top of the hip, shin parallel to the ceiling. So it's still in that right angle, we've just floated it up and lower down. Good, let's switch to the other leg. Deep breath in, exhale, float the leg up. Good, nice right angle, shin parallel to the ceiling, knee on top of the hip, lower down. Now hold on to the hips. Keep switching from right to left through the legs in your own time, not rushing though. And just check that as you move through one leg to the other, that your hips are not moving at all. And I just want you to imagine that you're treading on ice. So you need to be really, really gentle to make sure that ice doesn't break. Good, let's do one more time on each side. Good, lifting that leg up right from the hip joint to hip level, knee on top of the hip, lower down. Okay, good. Keep the feet down. We're gonna take the hands now behind the head, locking the fingers so that they're clasped together and you're just supporting your head. Elbows are not completely flat on the mat, but they're not folded all the way in. So they're just slightly hovered off of the mat. We're gonna do some crunches. So deep breath in, exhale, start to bring the chin to the chest. Don't squash your neck in too much. Use the core and start to crunch up, making sure your hips haven't rolled. And then slow to roll back down. Going again, deep breath in. Exhale, start to bring the chin to the chest like you've got an orange underneath. You're crunching up to about the tip of the shoulder blades. Make sure your hips haven't rolled in. And lower down. So each time you come up, I want you to draw your belly button in towards the spine. Keeping those hips nice and level. Making sure you're keeping a nice neutral spine, or if you need to, just gently press your back a little lower to the mat for a little bit of support. Okay, so we've done some prep crunches and some prep folds. Reach your arms now back by your side with the palms facing down, nice and long with the arms, and we're gonna put both together. So if what we just did felt just about right, stay with it. Otherwise, we're gonna pick one leg up to tabletop, again, where your knee is completely on top of your hip, shin parallel to the ceiling. And now really engage your core, and as long as your back doesn't arch up, lift the second leg to join the first leg. So your legs are still parallel. Both legs are in tabletop, and we're now gonna put the crunch in as well. So arms now lengthened by your side. Deep breath in. Exhale, start to bring the chin to the chest, start to crunch up. And as you crunch up, just hover your arms up an inch or two off of the mat, and then slowly roll back down. Go again, exhale, curling up. Reaching those arms nice and long, just lifting up like you've got an orange underneath your chin. Lower down. If this feels too much, place one or both legs down, and you can do the crunch on its own, or go back to those knee folds. Okay, on the next one, we're gonna keep building up. We're gonna crunch up, and we're gonna see if we can stay there, reaching the arms nice and long so they can stay there, or we're gonna take the hands behind the head for a little bit of support. And now you're gonna reach one leg out nice and long while the other leg stays in tabletop. Bring that leg back into tabletop, switch to the other leg. So one reaches nice and long to the diagonal in front of you. I say the diagonal, I mean, so it's not too high, it's not too low. And reach. The lower you take the lengthened leg, the more challenging it's gonna be. The higher up, it's gonna give you a little bit more support. So let's start to pick up the pace. So now you know the rhythm, you reach one leg out, reach one back in. Let's start to switch a little quicker. One leg comes in as the other one goes away. And you can start to draw the knee in a little closer towards your chest as it comes back in. So this is one leg stretch. Now, if you want to, you're gonna start to tap on the leg that comes in towards you and just bring that leg in a little closer towards your chest. And again, as one leg comes in, the other one reaches long. Your head can still be up, or you can be rested down on the mat. Make sure your hip bones are nice and level. This is your one leg stretch. Keep breathing in through the nose, out from the mouth. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug the knees in. Sorry, excuse me, hug the knees into the chest. Lower your head down. Place one foot down at a time, and let's come into a full body stretch. You'll stretch along your mat, arms above your head reaching nice and long, legs reaching nice and long, like you want to stretch. Good, just stretch it out. Okay, let's do the reverse. So this is shoulder bridge. Such a nice one to open up your hips, and a great one for strengthening the glutes, the legs, movement through the spine, basically everything. So bring your feet back down to the mat, but just step your feet in a little bit closer towards you this time, so the heels are more underneath your knees. So a little less than a right angle. Same with everything else. Hip bones are nice and level. Arms are reaching nice and long by your side. Palms are down, and you're looking straight up to the ceiling. Okay, so nice neutral spine. Take a deep breath in and start to flatten your back down towards the mat. Tilt the hips in towards you, and then release back to a nice neutral spine. Nice and small to start. Let's go again. Deep breath in, flatten the back down to the mat just slightly. Tilt the hips towards you. You're going to feel your tailbone coming off the mat slightly, and then release back down. So stay with this if this feels about right. Otherwise, you're going to flatten your back. Start to feel those lower abs as you start to lift your tailbone and your hips off of the mat, and your lower back as well. And then slowly roll back down. So you roll through each part of the spine, the lower back, the tailbone, and then you tilt your spine back to neutral. So we go again, flatten your back, and you can hold on to your hips. Make sure they come up at the same level. See if you can come up a little bit higher now, and keep pushing up. Engaging your glutes until you've created a lovely straight line from your knees all the way down to your shoulders, like a little slope. Just make sure your feet, your knees are staying nice and parallel in line with the hips, and your hands can be on your hips, or you're going to have them by your side pressing down into the mat. Let's start to roll down, upper back, to middle, to lower back, coming back to neutral. And let's go again. So if anyone's got high blood pressure or you start to feel a little bit dizzy, please don't come all the way up into a full bridge. Make sure you only go halfway or a little less. Make sure as well you're never going onto your neck. Let's roll all the way down bit by bit, upper back to middle, rippling through. Like a tide coming in, you roll away from it, the tide goes out, you roll back down. 2 more times, flatten the back, start to come up. Good, lifting up that a little bit more. Let's see if we can add the arms this time if you feel you can. So staying in that bridge, so you're all the way lifted if you're able to. You're now going to pick both arms up and bring them up and over your head, keeping the arms straight. So now the back of your hands is rested on the mat above you, over your head. If you can't reach all the way down, don't worry. And you're going to see if you can keep that bridge. Bring your arms back over your head, pressing your palms, your arms all the way down to the mat, and then we're going to roll down, upper back, to middle, to lower back, and then we release back to neutral. Let's go again. Take a deep breath in, flatten the back, exhale, start to lift, lower abs, then the glutes switch on, feel those hips open, come up to where you can. If you can be in a full bridge, add your arms. Take the arms over the head. The arms touch down above your head. They come back over your head like you're pressing something away from you. Press the arms down to the mat and then roll down, upper back, to middle, to lower. Coming into a nice neutral spine. Hug your knees into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side, back and forth. Good, and just have a little release. And then bring your arms and your legs back down and come back into a lovely full body stretch, reaching your arms and your legs nice and long. And just breathe it out. So this is part 1 of your full body workout. I'm doing them in sections that are nice and short, so you can stop here and be done for the day. You can do some stretches if you want to as well. Otherwise, come and join me for part 2, which I will leave on screen now, so you can go over and do that. where we will be doing some work on our side and on our front. So if you haven't already, do make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell button down below so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, bye.